you said about, set goals, but I set daily goals, and then I have weekly goals, and then I have monthly goals.
Yeah.
And then that's the end goal, then the big goal at the end.
Yeah.
So, at 4:30 in the morning when I'm journaling, I kind of have this thought process where I'm like writing things down. I said, this is what I need to do today. And this is one extra thing that I'm going to do today that could help me closer to my weekly goal. So I kind of break those goals down. And I think that really helps massively.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome back to, this is going to be episode number 10. Episode 10 of Chatzzz. And we've got our second female guest. So we're still in Dubai, as you can see. You probably can't see us on the cameras because it's dark as fuck. Let me just quickly try and focus on you a bit more. Yeah, but the main attraction obviously is
Nehha. All right.
Well, yeah, Nehha. We've got Nehha here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. It's bright and early today because we had to get her in before work. So it was actually 7:30 in the morning. So we're going to fly through it. So you've been prepped. The way we start this is 3 facts about yourself.
Yeah.
Go.
So the first fact is that I am a big believer in the 5 a.m. club. So I'm up at 4:30 every morning, and I believe that really gets a good start for me, for my day. There are a couple of things that I do. I drink water in the morning, and then I journal. I go to the gym, and then I meditate for a bit right before work. So there's actually a few hours of doing things before I start my day. And that's massively helped me in my life.
Do you think morning routines, would you say, what made you get into a morning routine then?
I think there was a part of my life where I was a party animal, and then I just gave it up one day, and I said that I needed to change my life, and I did. And I completely turned everything around.
Yeah, I think a morning routine is extremely important, isn't it? When we were at food the other day,
Yeah.
you and Kieran, I remember you saying you get up about 4:30, and then Kieran was saying he gets up at like 10 to 4, and I was like, I feel like a lazy bastard getting up at 5:30. So yeah, I think for me, getting up early is important because personally, I feel like I achieve something before someone's even awake. So you can get a head start on the day and you're not catching up on yourself. So yeah, I rate that 5 a.m. club is good. Maybe not 4:30, but maybe 5. Get up at 5:30. Yeah, cool. So second fun fact?
I love to exercise. I exercise 6 days a week. I could if I wanted to 7 days a week. And I love CrossFit a lot. And it's a sport which requires a lot of discipline. And it's all about the community as well. And I love that.
What made you get into fitness then in the first place?
I actually used to be a fat child.
That's a good motivation though.
Yeah. Like I said, I was a fat child. I didn't exercise. I went absolutely crazy partying in my college days. And then I think something really changed. And, one morning when you're really hungover and, everything is like shit around you and you can see like McDonald's and like empty beer bottles. And that was a turning point for me. And I wanted to change that and turn things around. So
you said that was like the turning point, but what was like the flip of the switch? Because obviously when you're like really in it, aren't you? You maybe, like you say, going out all the time, drinking, eating rubbish food. But what do you think was the one moment that made you go into fitness?
Return of the revenge body.
And I think that's important, isn't it? A lot of people do it. More people are doing it these days, I think. Like that's one of the good things about social media is you can, depends how you use it, doesn't it? But you can use, say, other people's journeys and stories as motivation to do that. Would you say that was a factor, or was it just yourself?
No, just my broken heart.
Yeah, our broken heart. Right, yeah. So, but a lot of girls do blow up, so don't they, after they break up?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is then? Because I don't know.
I don't know how to answer that question, but it's more about self-worth and self-discovery. Because when you break up with someone, I think you go on a journey of, self-discovery, and you're like, okay, I can do this on my own,
Yeah.
and I've like spent like nights crying, or I'm done with his shit, and he needs to see the goddess that I really am. Well, not well, they start out with he, and then like as you like start progressing, you see that it's about you. It's not about him at all,
Mhm.
and then you're just like living your best life.
Yeah. That's definitely a good point, a valid point. Third fact.
Third fact is that I'm very spiritual. I'm Buddhist. I converted to Buddhism in 2011,
Mhm.
and it has absolutely turned my life around. I'm also a big believer in manifestation,
Mhm.
and the law of attraction. I believe that everything is energy. The people around you, you attract your life. The life that you have, you attract. I have manifested each and every single thing that I've written about, thought about, or dreamed about. Well, almost.
Yeah. I think I'm not a massive believer, but I think I can definitely manifest things. But do you think manifestation, like, I feel like it's such like a common word that people use these days, but manifestation, but you still need to put in the work, don't you, to get there? I think a lot of people would manifest things and just expect it to happen, but they don't want to put in the hours or the work to get there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It's a process, and
Mhm.
you of course have to work towards it, and you have to have realistic goals. I mean, okay, everybody wants to win the lottery, but
Mhm.
that's not how it works. You know?
That'd be easy if it was, wouldn't it? But because as well, like when, say, if you manifest something and maybe you tell someone that you want to do something and you make it happen, and then when someone says, "Oh, you're really lucky," that annoys me, because it's like maybe you might be in the right place at the right time, but you've put yourself in that position in the first place, so you've actually been proactive to do that, to be in the position to become lucky. Whereas people who just, like, I don't know, do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Isn't that Einstein saying whatever? Do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, you're an idiot. It's just like, it's so frustrating to see. It's just like the person's mindset is completely in the wrong place. They just expect stuff to be given to them. They don't want to put in the hard work and earn the result. So yeah, manifestation is a good one, I think. But remember, put in the work, people, because otherwise it won't happen. So yeah, there are 3 facts to start off with, and now I want to talk about. So what we do with all the guests is talk about like what you like growing up. It's quite interesting for me to hear, and you to go back to like what you were like as a kid at school or university. So how much have you changed then from now to back then? What were you like as a kid?
Oh my God, massively. I don't even look the same anymore. 2 different people. Definitely think my parents think I'm adoptive now. I look so different from my family. Um, I've been very, very lucky, and I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity of growing everywhere across the world. I've had an array of crazy experiences. Like I've witnessed a war. I was in Saudi when the Gulf War broke out. I was stuck in Europe when there was an ash cloud. Do you remember the ash cloud, which happened in,
No, personally, no.
it's a long time ago. So I grew up everywhere, and I feel that I took a bit of different cultures with me as I went along, and that's made me into a completely different person. And I have so many interesting stories to tell. And I feel it's also honed my gift to connect with people, like all kinds of people. Dubai has like, what, 192 something different nationalities.
Yeah.
And I know that I have the gift to get along with anyone. I can start talking to people in coffee shops and trains and buses. And I think that comes easy because I grew up everywhere.
Yeah, that's cool. So when you were little then, did you want to go and travel, or what was kind of like, what did you want to do when you were small?
No, so I'm Indian
Yeah.
by birth, but my parents moved to Saudi when I was a few months old. And then, I moved around from there. But as an Indian girl, you kind of are expected to, get married and have children. And my life turned out to be just the opposite of that. So yeah, as a little girl, I mean, I wanted to have like a husband and children and, all the rest of it. But it turned out to be completely different, where I traveled the world and I had different careers, and, I met amazing people, and I did whatever I wanted to. And I'm living my best life here in Dubai now. I mean, look around us.
I know, yeah. It's a good view, isn't it? So why do you think then you didn't just go into getting a husband and having kids then? Why was that? Why did you want to be different to the normal path?
So I finished, I think it all changed at 26 when I moved to Milan to do my master's and I started working. And I took that as an opportunity to travel. And I've traveled, I think, more than most Europeans in Europe.
Yeah.
I think that kind of like changed my perspective and thinking. And I was doing Milan Fashion Week and I was doing London Fashion Week and I was doing all these amazing things and traveling. And I said, this is too good. Like, I just want to settle with, a man and have children. And at 26, I have the world in front of me. I took a trip to Monaco one day and I saw this vision. I saw this, I was standing at a cliff and I saw these boats. And I was wearing a white dress and these white boats and this water. And I said, I'd want to live in a place just like this. And at that point, I just decided I wanted to, and I started researching like, how do I move to Monaco? Can I get like a passport as some kind of citizenship or like a PR work permit? And I mean, I have views just like that in Dubai, So I feel that I kind of manifested that in Monaco, and things just move from there. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Complete sense. So what did you do at uni then?
I studied fashion.
Fashion.
Yeah, marketing and management.
So why did you want to do fashion then at uni? Were you always fashionable growing up? Or
I was. Yeah. At one point, I was a spoiled girl. I had like 200 pairs of shoes.
200? 200. There's only 365 days in the year.
I couldn't wear them all.
So you wanted to do fashion then? Was the fashion course what you expected?
Yeah. It was pretty good. The only regret I have, I chose a very wrong year because it was 2009 and the crash happened in 2009.
Yeah.
And I was studying in Italy, so there were no jobs for anyone, let alone a foreigner.
So what did you want to do then when you finished university?
So I was very lucky because I got an internship at the haute couture house called Gattinoni, and I was the only foreigner employed in that house. It was a great challenge because no one really spoke much English, and I had to like translate everything from English to Italian, which is an interesting experience on its own. So yeah, I wanted to get a job in fashion and work in fashion, and I ended up doing that as the years went by.
That's cool. So did you always want to like just be in fashion and then travel the world, or was it just you wanted to be like a clothes designer or fashion designer, or what was kind of like the thought process then?
I actually really didn't have any clear goals then. I said, okay, I'm studying fashion, I'm working in a haute couture house, and I got jobs in fashion. But I felt I discovered myself and what I really wanted much, much later in life, a late bloomer. I only started working when I was 28. I mean, my first job was at 28. So that's pretty late for most people.
Yeah, that is. How did you get away with that for so long?
Well, with Indians, our parents pay for everything.
That's all right, isn't it? I couldn't complain with that, to be fair. So your first job at 28 then?
Yes.
And that was the fashion job?
Yes.
And then where did it kind of progress from there? So
from Milan, I got an internship, which turned into a job in Singapore for the startup company. Then I moved to Singapore from there.
Yeah. How did that come about?
I really didn't like Singapore because I think it was, from Europe to Asia. It was a big change, and I didn't really take to it. I felt that I could do better than Singapore. No offense to anybody.
What do you mean by that then?
I just felt like I wanted to be in a more, luxurious like place. I felt like because I grew up in the GCC and, everything is like pretty easy here. And I felt that Singapore wasn't expaty enough. I think it was very, like a lot of, they say that it has a, expat population, but it's nothing like Dubai for sure.
No, yeah. So Singapore, what was that experience like?
I lasted 6 months.
Really? Not long at all.
No, I didn't really like it very much.
Oh, so you would not recommend that to anyone?
Well,
for a holiday, maybe.
Well, maybe for a holiday, yeah.
But not to live there.
No, I wouldn't think so.
So then, after Singapore, where did you end up?
So my parents moved back from Saudi to India in that meanwhile, and I hadn't been with my parents for so long. And I thought I'd move back with them, help them transit. And I moved back to India for a bit, where I got another job, which I spent a few years at, and then which got me to Dubai.
Oh, interesting. So obviously Dubai is quite a very new country. So like I'd probably say I don't know, properly on my radar the last couple of years, maybe. Do you always wanted to move to Dubai, or was it like a goal, or what was the thought process?
So I came to Dubai on a holiday. The minute I landed, I said, wow, I'm moving here.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
amazing. Yeah,
Like,
isn't it?
just like in a second, I landed. I said, yeah, this is my place. This is home.
So you were in India, and then you came on holiday to Dubai when you were in India,
Yes.
and you said you wanted to move here. Then did you do the same thing with Monaco? Or just Google, how do I move to Dubai?
Yeah, I mean, I told you I believe in the manifestation. I came to Dubai on a holiday. I went to my CEO and I said, I want to move to Dubai. He says, oh, you're in luck because you have a position empty here. And I said, all right, perfect. When are we doing this then?
Yeah.
And he said, as soon as you want. And 3 months later, I was here in Dubai.
Oh, that's crazy. Everything happens so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So, when you moved to Dubai, I imagine it's very different than it is today, is it? Or is it?
Yes, massively.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what was it like when you first arrived?
Well, there was no beachfront. I mean, there's a lot of construction which has happened in the past few years, and a lot of things have changed, of course, post-COVID as well. But in terms of lifestyle, I think it just keeps getting better. I really, really believe in the vision of the rule of Dubai, and if you see how much it's progressed in terms of everything, work-life balance, whether it's the quality of life, I think it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah. It seems to be getting, I don't know if it is, but like more lenient as time goes on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I remember in Ramadan, the holy month, earlier when I came, there weren't many branches, or, it was a bit restricted, but now everything's pretty open. And
because didn't it used to be you could only get alcohol in hotels or something like that, and then they started doing it in beach clubs? Or am I making that up?
No, you could pretty much drink alcohol everywhere. I mean, with a license, of course.
Yeah. Were they not giving license? Was it more strict to get a license or not? Am I making that up completely?
No, it was pretty easy.
Oh, right. I'm just making that up. That's fine. So you said when you were younger, then you didn't really have any goals or aspirations. So was it when you moved to Dubai and you saw like all the hustle and bustle and all that kind of stuff when you really started to have more of your own goals and aspirations in life?
Yes, very much so.
Why do you think that was then?
I think the people around me, everybody was the kind of friends I had and have are very successful. Everybody's got their own businesses. Most of my friends are, CEOs, or they're, heads of companies, and they're doing really, really well. So I really feel the kind of people you surround yourself with is what you become.
Yeah, I think that's important, isn't it? Because you see that phrase or saying where you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. And I think that's true. If you surround yourself with like aspirational people, motivated people, you'll be more motivated to do better with yourself. If you surround yourself with people who are maybe further ahead of you in life, then whatever you're trying to achieve, maybe they've achieved it already, they just think it's normal. So maybe you will have more, maybe their skill set could rub off on you, and then you could obviously they'd help you achieve your goals. But if you surround yourself with people who may be worse off than you, and you're just like feeling the best all the time, then yeah, you can they might think you're really cool and successful, whatever, but in the real world, that's not good for anyone, is it? So I was just saying, is it like, don't get comfortable being comfortable. You always want to put yourself out of your comfort zone to grow as a person. And I think surrounding yourself with people who are in high positions as you, or they're really successful, is extremely motivating, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think for this trip's mainly for me for motivation, to see like to work harder and stuff. And it's just like going out and about, seeing the people, seeing the place, and you just think like, oh, this is cool. You know what I mean? You could actually need to do a lot more to achieve something like that. But yeah, do you think surrounding yourself with people like that has helped you progress in your career?
Absolutely. And Dubai gives you a lot to aspire for. I mean, look around you. I'm very lucky because I live in a beautiful apartment. Of course, it's rented, but it makes me think that I want to own one day. I'm going to like work for that, and then you keep having these dreams, these aspirations to go higher and higher, because it's so possible in Dubai. It's the city of dreams. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, most of mine have come true so far. So.
I know. I think, like you say, with renting apartments, I feel like if you buy a house, yeah, cool, but it's a big commitment, isn't it? Because you're kind of stuck in that place unless you rent it out, whatever. But if you don't own a house, then you can go wherever you want, whenever you want, if you are wanting to do that kind of thing. But I think it's quite cool renting anyway. I would prefer to do that, to be fair.
Well, it depends on what you want out of life.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, yeah, like you say, it depends what your goals and aspirations are. If
You can still buy a house and still travel the world.
Yeah, that's true. So, what was the first job like that you had in Dubai?
It was with my previous company. So I used to work for a company that does customer experiences for luxury and lifestyle brands. So I worked with really, really big fashion houses and fashion brands. And that's what I say. I've been very lucky that way, in terms of, you know, where I've lived, the kind of friends I've had, the kind of lifestyle I've had. But again, I've worked for it.
Yeah. So, what's kind of been like, have you had the same job throughout Dubai, or how has it changed and transitioned as time goes on?
So I did, I worked for this company for a few years, and then I took a break because I had been working nonstop because I got transferred from India to Dubai. So I think it had been almost 6 years. I was working without a break. And at one point you just, you know, want to take a break and just kind
chill.
of like chill for a bit, you know.
Recharge your battery.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was, I left that job, took a break for a few months. And throughout my career, I've always had people approaching me. I've not really struggled very much, you know, with finding a job, or, you know, one thing led to another. I'm also a big believer in destiny.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, that's cool. So, you said, I know we've spoken before, but say, you said you started your own business. Was it last year?
Yes, last year.
Last year. So, when you were growing up, or when you used to Dubai, did you always want to have your own business, or do you feel like it was external, not like pressure, but just because other people were doing it, or what was like the thought process behind starting that up?
We were in lockdown, COVID.
Yeah.
When we were in lockdown, I'm a very productive person, and I need to keep doing something all day. So I was like, okay, we're in lockdown. What am I doing now? You know, should I study something? Should I do something? And that's what I did. I came across this course for nutrition called Precision Nutrition. And I was like, okay, maybe I can, you know, learn something new and start coaching. And that's what I did.
So, say like in lockdown, I'd say most people would just maybe sort themselves out and their own fitness and their own journeys. So why would you say you wanted to help other people with their own fitness journeys?
Because people kept coming to me all the time. Nehha, what are you doing? What exercises are you doing? What are you eating? Can you make a meal plan? Like, you know, how do you stay so fit? Like, why are you so disciplined? And that just went on from one thing to another. And they said, oh, you should start making YouTube videos. You should do something. You know, you have the experience, you have the passion. Why don't you do something about it?
Yeah. Why do you think people came to you then? Did you think it was just because of you posting on social media, or do you think it's because you as a person, or what?
I think a bit of both. I wasn't very active on social media until I started my business. I had I think maybe not even 100 followers.
Nothing wrong with that.
But it's not about the followers, but I'm very good with people.
Yeah.
And I felt that if you're a coach, that definitely has to, you know, be one of your stronger suits or stronger qualities.
Yeah.
And I felt that people around me were always inspired, because even if I had a night out, I'd still wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. I don't know how I did it. Because sometimes I don't think I'm very human.
So you say you're good with people. Would you say it's important to be good with people in your job role, your current job role? And do you think that personable skills has rubbed off maybe when you wanted to start your own business?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so. Because even in terms of, you know, finding work, finding a job, or you need to have people skills in some way or the other, whether you're introvert or extrovert, either which way.
Yeah. And then what did it feel like when you launched your own nutrition business then during lockdown?
It has been the toughest thing I have ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of difficult things. um, it was really difficult because, starting your own business, as you know, isn't the easiest thing. And the one piece of advice I would give anyone would be, either you start your business as a side hustle with your current job and make it into your main hustle, or either you have a ton of savings. Don't start your business just, winging it. It doesn't work like that.
And I'll wing mine to start off with. So the way my first one came about, so I'm on my third one technically now. So I had two with a business partner. When I was 22, when I finished uni, basically had a job for 3 months, quit that, started my own events company. Had to quit my job, hadn't told my parents, just finished uni, and then just started running events and stuff. Honestly, didn't have any idea I'd run events before at uni. I was an event manager, whatever, done my own events. But then into the real world, and you just think, bloody hell, what am I doing? You just think you've got nobody to ask questions to, or nobody to give you answers. You're just on your own 2 feet, aren't you? And that is quite daunting. And the launch is always the easy part. And after the launch, so you have to put the hard work in. And that's the thing that people don't want to do. So many people launch things on social media and think they've launched a business or a brand, but they don't want to put the hours behind the scenes that nobody sees to maintain it consistently. And then that's what you build it over time. So I think it is exciting, isn't it? Launching your own business, but it's just, like I say, it's such hard work, and people don't see the hard work that goes in. They just see, they'll see the podcast coming out on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, whatever, but they won't see obviously the organization to get you here, the setting up, the recording, the downloading, the editing, all that kind of thing. And they just think it's easy, but nothing's easy. You know what I mean? If something was easy, everyone would do it, wouldn't they? And I think that's the thing with business. Everyone fancies themselves to run a business, but it's, can they actually do it? I don't know. But
I agree. It also requires a kind of mindset. I mean, people don't see the tears, the anxiety, there's a whole lot of emotion that comes with having your own business as well. And then failing, because you said you had your own business, right? And how did that go? Was it successful?
So the first one was events business. So like nightclub events around the UK, Ibiza, Amsterdam, Budapest. We did all that kind of stuff, which was really, really good. But then we had a marketing one with a business partner. So we did that, and at the start of lockdown, obviously you couldn't run events because everywhere was closed. So we closed that one, stopped doing that. And then the marketing, just the way the market was going with COVID, obviously we wanted to go 100% remote, and we just thought we'd set different ideas moving forward, went our separate ways, and that's when it went solo and stuff. So it's just, for me, I was glad I went in with a business partner to start off with, because if I went on my own, I'd probably been fucked, you know what I mean? Because at the time, even if you try and explain the situation to someone, they can't relate to it at all because they're not in it. Whereas I was with a business partner, and then whatever problems, struggles, or whatever we had, we were in it together. So you could share that workload, the stress, all that kind of thing. So it was good, and you could make the mistakes, and it wouldn't be all on you. Not like it was all on one of us, or whatever, but you share everything, wouldn't you? Because it was like where you basically are, because you're legally bound together, aren't you? So it was good in that sense to make the mistakes and learn with someone, because obviously we had no support, because we just kind of winged it, you know what I mean? And then now I can make more decisions based on that experience. And I'd like to think, hopefully, I've got I'm on the right direction. But the thing in business that I've found, and you probably find in work as well, is that nobody really knows what they're doing. They just use their experience to just kind of make decisions moving forward, because that's the thing. You want to take risks, don't you? Like, you took a risk to your business, take a risk moving here. That's how you grow as a person. And if you don't take a risk, then you just stay the same. And personally, I don't want to stay the same. I always want to improve myself and get better. And another thing is that when people get like jealous or like envious or resentful of other people, so I'd imagine you've probably got a lot of people on your social media who think, oh, why is she out in Dubai? Why is she going out all the time? Blah, blah, blah. But they're only saying that because they wouldn't be able to do it themselves. So they're probably envious or jealous of you as a person and your characteristics and personality traits. So yeah, that's a bit of inspiration, motivation for everyone out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. But people also see, I mean, a different side of things in social media, you know, like when they see, you know, us on a yacht but I work very hard for that. Like,
Yeah.
extremely hard. I work 15 hours a day,
Yeah.
you know, just so I can, you know, go on that
I know, yeah. That's what I mean. It's a highlight reel, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like when I said to you last night, oh, do you want to do a podcast late on? And you said, oh, no, I need to do work, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it is that, like you say, the behind the scenes, the work that you have to put in to get where you want to be. And people would just see the picture of the weekend on the yacht. So yeah, it's crazy, really. So then we've gone on a bit of tangent there, but we'll go back to the business. So the nutrition business, you started that during lockdown and stuff. You said it was like really, really hard, etc. And then at the time, would you say the goal was to try and pursue that full time, or was it just like a hobby or something to keep you busy during lockdown?
No, it was definitely to go full time, but I failed, and I failed massively, and I'm really proud of that failure.
Yeah, I think it's good to own it, isn't it? Really, what would you say you learned from it?
Have your own savings before you start a business. That's number one. And number two is don't really be very hard on yourself, because having a business is like having a baby. And I felt I gave birth and the baby died. Very dramatic at 7:30 in the morning. But the thing is that not to be hard on yourself, because the dots always connect. You know, one thing leads to another. And the skills that I developed, you know, with my nutrition coaching business led me to my next, you know, to my next venture and, you know, to the next journey. And even, you know, to the job that I have now, actually.
Yeah. Do you think that's quite a very mature and big decision, isn't it? To like drop your ego and then like just let go of it? Because like you say, it is a baby, isn't it? You've nurtured that and you love that more than anything in the world. And then to end it, I'd imagine it'd be, is it not disappointing, but you just end it, you learn your last day and you move on. So you moved on and then you're on to this job now.
Yes.
And then how would you say that's going then so far?
Great. I've learned so many new skills. Like I said, my nutrition coaching business also taught me marketing. And because when you start your own business, you're everything. Your marketing, your sales, you know, your accounts, your everything in one. So it taught me a lot of skill sets, which helped me go on to my next role. And right after that, after I gave up my business, I started freelancing for different companies in social media and marketing. And that's what got me to this current job.
Yeah. Social media is a good job, people. Don't steal all my clients though. So you learned this new skill set when you had your own business. And I completely agree that you are everything, especially when you're starting off. You learn so many things that you'd never want to, just because you have to. You want to save money until you can afford to like build a team and stuff. And it is mental. I remember when we started, we do everything, you know what I mean? And you look back and you think, what was I doing? I literally had no clue what I was doing there. But it is all worth it. I remember when we started doing videos for clients, we used to just use it on our iPhones and stuff. And you're like, how did people pay us money to do that? You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. So you started freelancing then. So that's obviously being self-employed, isn't it, really? So
Yes.
how did you find that?
Again, people just started approaching me, seeing me on social media and my Instagram, and said, do you want to like start making content? Can you do social media? We have this client. And I didn't even expect that. I said, I don't know. I don't think my content's very good anyway, you know, it's self-belief. And then you just kind of like fake it until you make it. Not sure I should be saying that. But
No, I think it's going back to business people in general, is they're just winging it. Well, not like winging it, but they're using their experience, aren't they, to make decisions, and nobody really knows what they're doing. They're just making the best decision for them at the time. And you can never ask anyone to do more than they're capable of. And if you are, then you're a bit of a dickhead, really, because you need to be just more self-aware and you need to understand of people's skill sets and how good they are and all that kind of thing. But I know a lot of people, well, not a lot, that's a lie. Some people message me and they'll say like, oh, how do I start on my own social media business? And I want to do social media agency and stuff, or like say freelance. So if you were to give someone a bit of advice or how it kind of came about a bit more like in detail. It'd be quite interesting. Because to just say to people, because you said your content was really good. So I know you just mentioned about LinkedIn. Would you say that you posting on LinkedIn helped you build like a presence to be able to get clients, inbound clients messaging you and that kind of thing? Or what would you say?
So a big thing is I started doing things like I started getting mentors, people who worked in marketing, people who worked in social media, and I just said, he's like, I love what you do. Do you want to grab coffee? I mean, it's just a simple, cup of coffee. And I feel that people are very good on a larger level. And if you ask somebody for help, they will help you. So I started looking out for mentors. I started, talking to people in my field. I started using Google for everything. How do I?
Yeah. Google is your best friend.
Yeah, it is. You can pretty much find everything there. Start seeing videos, listening to podcasts, reading books, and that's just started applying. And the one thing I did is not, wait for tomorrow. I just started. Well, it's difficult to put yourself out there on social media. I mean, for a lot of people, especially, if let's say if you're an introvert or you're not comfortable with your body, or, I have friends coming to me saying, oh, I want to do, I want to start like being a makeup artist. Like, but I said, you have to get on camera. No, I don't feel comfortable enough. I said, but you have to do it. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Otherwise there's no, you can't start. So just start now.
Yeah, I think it's important. And when we say to even clients, like say if you've got a business and if you've got a new idea, you're going to be rich, because having a new idea and a new business is pretty much impossible because everyone's done everything, haven't they? So if you're doing the same business as someone else, there's only really one differentiating factor, I'd say, as a whole, and that is you as a business owner. So like you as a business owner are different to the other person, and the reason why you get business, especially when people are starting out, or even if they've been going a while and you built that trust with people, is because of you. Because they could go to any other business, probably which would be cheaper, might be a little bit better or whatever, there'd be higher quality, there'd be other reasons, and they'll keep going back to you for you. So getting on camera and people seeing the whites of your eyes will separate yourself and differentiate yourself from other people. I think that is important. Like going back to put yourself out your comfort zone, you need to do that if you want to succeed. I think, especially in the modern day, because there's so many like businesses that can just be like drop shipping or whatever. They'll be able to do just like send shit out basically. And if you can add the value of the trust, the community, and that kind of side of things, I think that's the way to go these days. But you said about being proactive as well. Why was that your kind of like method of messaging someone and asking for a coffee? What was the thought process behind that?
Because you learn from the best. I mean, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I learned from people who've already done it and done it really good, and they're successful at what they do. So why not learn from them?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point as well, isn't it? Don't try and reinvent the wheel, because that's going to be time, energy, and basically you've got to be like Elon Musk, having an absolute genius and have the cash to do it. So yeah, it's like I've done a few courses before, and I think they are important. It's just taking, I'd imagine the mentors and people that you've spoken to, you haven't taken everything from one person. You've taken snippets from each different person and found out how you can kind of do it best. Because I think speaking to people is important, isn't it? And just talking about their life experiences and that kind of thing. So would you recommend people to get a mentor or just get a coffee with people? Or what would you say?
Different mentors. I have so many different mentors. And the good thing is that they keep checking up on me, so you feel it's not just about getting a mentor, but having a good relationship with them. So they can guide you, through life itself. So, I have somebody I go to for relationship advice, or somebody I go to for marketing, or somebody I go to, just for, just to talk to. So different mentors.
Yeah, it's important.
Not just one. Yeah.
So then starting this freelancing, would you say that LinkedIn was your biggest platform to just post on?
It is now. Yes, absolutely.
Or back then, what would you say was the best to get the freelancing clients?
So again, it was a journey. So I got approached by a coach who is the king of organic Facebook marketing.
How did that happen though?
He just approached me.
Why do you think that was?
Look at me.
Fair enough.
And I mean, I learned like some amazing strategies through him, and then I got approached by another coach who has her own LinkedIn agency, and I think that was a winning point for me because I really liked her and the strategies that she used, and then I started using the same strategies for the other freelance clients that I had, and I found massive success there.
Yeah, that's so on, isn't it? So I think it's really cool, isn't it, that you got approached by people and then you can use their strategies and stuff. And then what was it like then freelancing with social media? How is it different to the nutrition side of stuff?
Freelancing is also a very lonely road. It's not, you need to have, especially if you live in the UAE, you definitely need to have like consistent income coming in every single month. You can't, be like, oh, I have like a job today and I don't have a job tomorrow because, you need to pay rent and, have bills, etc., etc. But it's always, when you're working with one client, it's always giving your best, having the relationship with them, and then they just refer you. I feel that's just how it works. And the best like clients come from references.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think I ever really had to try very, very hard because all my clients came from references.
Yeah. Well, I can't say the same thing about me.
How's yours different?
So we do a lot of outbound. So we do Facebook Messenger. So we'll put them through like a little messenger script and funnel, add them into a free Facebook group, book them on a meeting, and then kind of give them a bit of advice. And then if they want to sign up, they can sign up. But I think for me, I found it harder when I was younger to, I don't want to stereotype, but a lot of people would be ageist, if that makes sense. So because say I was 22, 23, 24, they'd think like, oh, who is this kid, whatever, does he know what he's talking about? I can kind of try and boss him about and that. And really it's just them not understanding or knowing what it was. So the kind of flip for me is now the most important thing is building a relationship with the client and giving them an understanding of what's going on. Because I found one, if you don't regularly check in with them, they'll go distant, and then little problems will build up to bigger things, and then it will obviously escalate and blow up maybe more when you do actually have a meeting with them. Or then the second thing was, what's it saying? Building relationships and I can't remember, lost my trail of thought.
Keeping in touch, checking in on
them. Building relationships and checking in on them. Oh, no, but yeah, I've lost my trail of thought now. But yeah, building relationships. So what we do is we have a weekly meeting with them. If they want to have that, they can. If they don't have to. So why that's important, I find, is like say with a little problem. So say if you had a problem with me, but then you've got a weekly meeting, you can address that there and then we can nip it in the bud, or we can re-strategize or whatever. But if you check in maybe once a month, you've got that whole build up, and then it maybe becomes a bigger and bigger problem and you can't rectify that for longer. So doing that is extremely important, I think. And then I completely forgot the second point, so we're gonna have to move on. But what was it? Because when I was younger, people were ageist, and they'd think, I don't know, I forgot. But yeah, so for you, what made you then switch from the freelance to the full time?
I just wanted more money.
Yeah.
And I wanted a little more stability, to build up my savings, because I lost all my savings when I started my business. So my method to find a job or do anything, in life really is networking.
Yeah.
And that's one of my strong suits, whether it's networking online or, it's networking offline. It's really, really, really important to get you to the next step.
Yeah. I think, it's like you were saying about all your worth for referrals. And if you're around for long enough, should we say, then people know who you are, know what you do, and they'll trust you. And I think it's a big, big thing in work or business is trust. Say if it is a client trusting you with their money, or it is a boss trusting you with a task or a skill. Because I definitely found it hard to delegate tasks to team members and give it away and trust them to do that. So would you say that people would trust you?
Yes.
Yeah. And why do you think you're a trustworthy person?
Because I'm very open in my communication and I'm a very direct person. If they give me a task and I feel I can't do it, I'll just tell them I can't do it. But if you still want me to do it, I try to figure it out. But you have to give me time, 2 weeks. And I'm very clear with communication. If something needs to be done, I mean, you need to communicate. What are the timelines? What is the end result that you want? You know,
I think communication is key, isn't it? Like you say, I would say, like, if I give a task, it would be, let me know if you have any questions, or queries with it, and let me know if you're not sure what to do, and check in with them, say, how are you getting on, that kind of thing, and just maybe you think if you're being checked in on, like you're being chased up, but it's not. It's just thinking, oh, how are you doing? You find anything difficult? You find it easy? Whatever. And yeah, it's just communication, anything, isn't it? Business, work, life, relationships, whatever. As long as you maintain good communication, then your life will be so much easier, won't it? And if you kind of avoid it, and it's a fucking nightmare, and you work it up in your head, won't you? And then it'll just end up just blowing up, and then you'll be miserable. And nothing's as bad in real life as it is in your head, I think.
100%.
Because even on the way to Dubai, I was stressing. I was thinking, oh, bloody hell, I'm going to get a positive PCR test. I'm going to be getting one of these Dubai traveller locator forms. I'm going to fill it in wrong and stuff. But really, it was the easiest place to get in. You've already got everything sorted. So with this new role then, where do you see it going in the next year or so? You still see you in the same role, or are you looking for a promotion, or what do you say?
So my aim is to shine my light on the world. So aim is to have be on some magazine cover, 40 under 40.
I saw something on your Instagram. What was that?
That was just it wasn't a real cover.
No way.
Because you see my caption, it says manifesting.
Oh no, I didn't read the caption. I just saw the grid post, and I was like, fucking hell.
A little bit of truth there.
Yeah. Oh, so shining light in the world, 40 under 40. So
yeah.
40. So what does 40 under 40? What's that classed as? Is that 40 powerful people in Dubai?
In marketing.
In marketing?
Yeah.
Oh, in the world or in Dubai?
In Dubai.
In Dubai. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good goal to have, isn't it? I'd say.
Goals.
Yeah. I think it's always important to have goals, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you don't. I feel like people will set a goal. Say, I'd set a goal now, and then I'd want to say achieve it by tomorrow. But really, what you want to do is set a goal, set the milestones in the way, achieve each little milestone, make it manageable, and then after you've achieved some milestones, you'll achieve your goal. Whereas don't set the goal and think you're going to achieve that straight away, because that's when people get disheartened, demotivated, and that's when they'll give up. And I think consistency and persistence is the most important thing in anything.
The magic words.
Yeah.
I 100% believe in that. Consistency over anything. I remember when we were at dinner and you had this conversation with me, and I said, you know, how do you get to like so many followers, or how do you get, you know, the success that you have now? And you said the amount of videos that you made before, you know, you got your first.
Yeah. Yeah. So for people that don't know, and probably followed me more recently, is it took me 400 videos to get my first viral video on TikTok. So I can't remember what date around it was, but I started posting maybe February, March time before lockdown, so 2020. And then I'd post. So for anything, I think it's important is to test out different things. If it's jobs, I don't know, sports, hobbies, whatever, test out little different things, find out what works. And it may take 400 days, 400 years, 400 videos, whatever. But then when you find out what works, just rinse and repeat it for as much as it's worth until it stops working, and then carry on testing in between little bits and bobs. Because like I say, yeah, consistency is key. People see the end result. They'd see maybe me with 300,000 followers on TikTok, but they maybe won't look at the 2,500 videos that I've posted. You know what I mean? So people would want the followers, but they wouldn't want to put the work in and put the videos in to get there. So yeah, just remember, it's a hard work that's the most important thing. And yes, people can go viral off one video. It's like the launch of anything. that's the easiest part. You can go viral off one video, you can do a successful launch, but if you want to maintain something that makes it sustainable in the long run, you need to be consistent and persistent with anything. And yeah,
400. Wow, you're the inspiration for many today.
yeah, it's just everything's time, isn't it? Be patient as well. I think I'd probably only say my business started doing what I would class as well at the back end of last year. Other than that, I'd probably say it was all right. So it takes years of time for anything. I think, like, going back to it, patience is key. Because if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work, does it?
No, absolutely not.
Whatever you do, if you love it and you enjoy getting up every single morning, then that's what you should do. You shouldn't. I know. You shouldn't really wait, like, do a job that you don't really enjoy. I know some people do it, but you should always try and aim to do something. If you're doing a job you don't like, yeah, learn that as a lesson. Try and apply, do something else, try something else, especially when you're young and you have no commitments and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's a bit of motivation, hopefully, for people. So you're gonna do 40 under 40 with marketing. So what's kind of like the plan to do that? Plan of action.
Plan of action, like you said, about set goals, but I set daily goals, and then I have weekly goals, and then I have monthly goals, and then that's the end goal. Then the big goal at the end.
Yeah.
So at 4:30 in the morning when I'm journaling, I kind of have this thought process where I'm like writing things down. I said, this is what I need to do today, and this is one extra thing that I'm going to do today that could help me closer to my weekly goal. So I kind of break those goals down, and I think that really helps massively.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think I definitely do not do that. But yeah, like I was saying about the manageable milestones, that's on a very, very structured scale. And I think if I did that, that'd be super important. I set reminders on my phone, but I think
do you write down your goals though? Like paper and pen, old school?
Not paper and pen, no. All digital. I've got 4 reminders I haven't done. So that shows how I'm on holiday. I'm on a business trip.
That's true.
So let me off. So yeah, that's cool. So that's pretty much it for the main part. I'm going to go on to everyone's favorite segment, which is relationship advice. So,
ooh, I need a sip of water.
Yeah. So we've had 3 people message in, as always. No idea why you message in asking me for relationship advice, but here we are. So what we do is, the way it works, we anonymously name them. We don't name drop them, and then we'll give advice as best we can. So this is a woman. What are we calling her? Candy. Very interesting name. So Candy says, what is the best financial advice a woman can get? So I think this would be a better question for you, because I'm not a woman, believe it or not. So some financial advice for a woman, what would you say to her?
Always have your own money. Always. Don't depend on a sugar daddy. Don't depend on your parents, your boyfriend, your husband. Always have enough money of your own and strive to grow it. This is one of the hardest lessons I've learned in my life. I was very lucky because I grew up well, and I always had people to support me. But if there's one thing my failures have taught me is always, like, every woman should be independent and have her own money and her own savings, and do something to grow them. Eventually, over time, you'll need them.
Yeah, I think that's definitely important, and I can't speak from experience because I'm not a woman again, but I think it's really, like, sexy when women just, like, pay for their own shit.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that makes sense or anyone else can, like, understand that. But I think, yeah, it's just like, if they do their own thing, pay for their own stuff, and I was like, oh, they're independent. Like, that's important for me. Someone who just does their own thing, has their own goals, has their own aspirations, and just goes for it, and doesn't, like you say, just want to get a husband and just settle down, and then that's the end of the world. So yeah, that's cool. Second question. So when you're so my girlfriend, who's not actually my girlfriend, is speaking to someone else, I feel like shit. Should I say something, or what should I do? Or what we calling him? It's a boy.
Him.
Yeah, him.
Andy.
So Andy sounds like he's in a bit of a situationship. So his girlfriend, who's not actually his girlfriend, he's found out that she's speaking to someone else. So they're not actually together. But what should he do? Should he say something, or should he move on?
Well,
Should he
has
say
he
or
given
what?
her a commitment? Exactly.
Andy, you need to tell us if you've given a commitment or not. So what would you say to him then?
Well, any person's free to do whatever they want if they're not committed. Things change when you're committed to someone. And I feel men are very simple. Either they're into you, either not. And if they are, and if they're ready, they will commit. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, we are very simple creatures. We don't have much going on upstairs, to be fair. So what are you saying to Andy then? He's meant to commit to it or pie her off?
Well, if he wants her, in his life, commit to her and just be, but if he doesn't, like, then he should be cool with her talking to other people because woman's got options,
So it comes back to communication, doesn't it? He just needs to communicate how he's feeling and tell her what the crack is, and then they can either move forward or sack it off and go their separate ways. So Andy, you heard it here first. Right. Okay. So this is a girl. What are we calling her? This is
Aisha.
Aisha. We've had some funky names. Candy and Aisha. We've got Kieran in the background. He's woken up. But he has been awake for a while, but we've got a guest. What do they call it in the audience? A member of the audience. So Aisha says, he's telling me he's not ready for a relationship, but expecting me to give him relationship benefits. It's confusing. What do I do?
Walk away.
Walk away, just straight like that?
Communicate with him how you feel and then walk away. If he's not, when men say they're not ready for a relationship or they're not ready for commitment, listen to them. Don't try to change them. Don't try to talk them out of it. When they're ready, they will tell you they're ready. They will show you they're ready, and you'll know when they're ready. But if they're saying they're not ready for a relationship, cut your losses, girl.
Yeah. And maybe it's not that they're not ready. It's just they don't want to settle down with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But it depends on what you want as well. I mean, if you want a relationship and he doesn't, then...
Yeah, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? Because if you care about someone and they say they're not ready, you want to be with them, don't you? But I think as well, if you maybe leave that situation, do your own thing and move on with your life, he might come crawling back as well. Because he'll be thinking, oh, she can be on her own. She's doing her own thing. That's quite cool. I want to be a part of that. So there is that as well.
Yeah. And it works really well, actually, when women are in their glow up phase, they kind of like attract.
I know. That's the thing about these glow up phases. They do actually turn your head and you think, oh, bloody hell, they're actually doing all right. So, yeah, Aisha, that's actually some good advice, to be fair. So listen to us. So yeah, that is the end of the podcast. Have you enjoyed that?
Oh, massively.
Best podcast in the whole entire world. Hopefully you can see us because the lighting is absolutely shocking again. I think it was better in the dark maybe, but yeah. Right, Nehha, thank you very much for coming on. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, comment what your favourite part of the podcast is. If you've got any questions for Nehha, put it in the comments. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, make sure you follow me, leave a 5-star review as well. That'll be massively help. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
It was amazing. So much fun.
Enjoy that, yeah.